Hey everybody, it's Chris and Des Show. I'm Chris.
And I'm Des.
And today we're going to talk to you about all the shorts.
All of them.
Nominated
we're going to do it all in
for
one
the Oscars.
swoop.
So we'll start with a documentary short subject. The nominees are Edith. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. Edith and Eddie. Heaven is a Traffic Jam on the 405. Heroin, Knife Skills, and Traffic Stop. Des, what did you think of those films?
Of those films, Edith and Eddie is about these two old people who just find each other and want to be married, and it's just...
And people are mean to them.
I don't like
it.
Well, it gets to money issues and people want things. And,
I don't like that.
Well, they stop being humane and they want the house or they want the, whatever. And then Heaven is a Traffic Jam on the 405 is about this artist who, what does she have?
She has some mental illness from the beginning.
Yeah.
Then she takes this treatment of shock therapy.
And then she has shock therapy.
That really saves her life from depression. She doesn't, but it also makes her seem like she has mental disabilities. I think they're even greater than she had prior to taking it. But also her parents were not so.
Well, and that's what reveals in the movie is that. But she's an amazing artist.
Yeah,
I mean,
I loved her paper mache.
Yeah, she's great. Heroin is about opioid problem. And
sorry, I'm smiling. It's about opiate problem. Like, oh!
It was a good movie.
It's a great movie.
It's centered in North Carolina in this town where the fire chief is kind of heading the way and trying to promote this drug that saves people when they're overdosing. And let's pass this out. Let's get everybody using it. And
it's really about the three women who are. There's a judge, and she, man, I wish all judges were like her. She cares so much, and she even explains, like, okay, you broke your parole, you did this, I have to put you in jail for a night. But you get yourself back on the right track, I can get you in this program. She has really created and worked this program to help people get off of drugs and stay off of drugs.
In a real way.
And she hugs them and gives them certificates and claps for them. I loved her. And the chief's the same way. And then this lady who does this ministry, sorry, the phone is ringing, who does this ministry, the same.
Who goes around passing out food
to prostitutes who are on drugs as well, too.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
Okay. So this movie combines all three of them together, and they're all helping each other to help this process. And it's just uplifting of this horrible situation that's going on that really is across the country what's happening in our world. You okay there?
I'm okay.
Okay. So that was that one. And then the last one...
Knife Skills.
Oh, no, that's not the last one.
Did you do Knife Skills?
I didn't do... Knife Skills is about this restaurant that is hiring people who come out of jail.
Yeah.
And it's... That one was okay.
See, I really liked it, though, because it wasn't just like, let's hire ex-cons. A lot of people do that.
Yeah.
It's like, let's have them go through a training. Like, they're going to leave here knowing, like, you could work at any really fancy restaurant because you'll know, like, how to cook, or you'll know about wine, or you'll know about customer service at a whole different level. They go through training, and they take tests and quizzes, and it's really interesting. I think, too, what I like about that is that I love the idea that when you believe in someone, when you have high expectations for them, they rise to that. And when you have these low expectations, they don't.
They don't, right.
And this guy does. Because he's also an ex-con himself, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the last one is called Traffic Stop, and it's just about this one situation and it's the dash cam on the cop car of what happened when this lady got pulled over, and she was talking back to the cop, and then he was... too physical and pulled her out of the car, and this all exploded.
Yeah. That one, I am 100%. I will fight for the idea that we are, in our criminal justice system, is unfair to Black people in general.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially, I don't understand racism in general, but I don't know why that happens, but I think this was not the best choice to show that, though, because there were a few times when I was like, I would never do that. And I would never do that either because I'd be afraid that the cop would be like, why are you why aren't you listening to what I'm telling you?
Yeah,
and
why
I would
aren't
get
you
in trouble for
complying
it.
to what I'm telling you to do?
So if it was just that confrontation, that's fine. If it was a race thing, I think there are way better examples. Like, look at all the examples we have. Trayvon Martin, all these guys who didn't do anything wrong and were killed or were harassed or whatever. For sure, he's way too excessive physically. Oh, 100% too physical.
Yes, absolutely.
And he starts his story when he gets there. His commanding officer gets there. He's like, "Well, she was like." Was she, though?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's telling the truth either. I don't think it was right what he did. Oh, my gosh. And I can't stand the police officer who rides with her.
Oh, my gosh.
And he's like, the reason is because I'm like, no. You are 100% wrong. That is not the reason why. Anyway. But it just felt a little forced at times, too, I think. They had an agenda. And it's okay to have an agenda in your documentaries sometimes. But it doesn't always feel as genuine when you do.
Yeah. This situation, I think, was a little more gray in how she wasn't just doing what the cop asked her to do. She was talking back to him, and she was coming back at him every step along the way. And then he just snaps. Right. And so it's a good movie in that it shows the problem that we're having. I think that's indicative of the race relations. Yeah. Okay, so those are the documentary short subjects.
Oh, wow, that's what we got.
Yeah.
And then the animated ones
Dear Basketball.
By Kobe Bryant,
it's Kobe Bryant. Little love story to basketball.
And it's really good.
It is really good.
I love the animation that it's like a sketching. Mm-hmm. It's a sketches. It's and short, John Williams but it's music. Good. It's really good. And it was, I think that was a nice thing for him to do because he do love basketball. Garden Parties about frogs.
I hated it. It
is beautifple, especially at the beginning. I will say that. But then it takes a weird turn. I don't understand.
And it just, it was yucky.
Lou.
I love Lou. Lou is Pixar, and it's about this playground, this lost and found box. Oh, it is so good. Gosh. I love Lou. I couldn't say any greater thing about Negative Space. Negative Space is good.
Really good also. I liked it.
It's this father-son story and how they relate, and
it's like a claymation kind of.
Oh, I don't remember.
Right? Yeah. When and it's a really cool. It's interesting, and I think it's a deeper story than it usually. Because it's about I never connected to my dad except through pack. He taught me how to pack my clothes, and so he would pack his dad's clothes, and his dad would text him perfect, and he's like that one word from him
was the connection between him and his dad.
Oh, that's a nice thing, and it was really cool animation as well.
Yeah. And then Revolting Rhymes is
it's based on a Roald Dahl book.
Yeah, it's fairy tales. The fairy tales, the Three Little Pigs and the
Snow White
and
Red Riding Hood.
Right, and just a different take on
that.
On them, yeah.
Yeah, Snow White's blonde.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And it's
good.
And the Big Bad Wolf tells the story.
It's interesting. Yeah.
And I like that animation too. What I liked is that all 5 were different types of animation and beautifully done.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So they're good. The live action shorts.
The live action shorts.
DeKalb Elementary. Oh, man. Is edge of your seat.
It is so good. It just takes place in the office of this elementary school. And
a shooter comes in.
This guy comes in, and then the lady she talks him. It's so good.
I love that
it's really good.
That it really talks about mental illness in that because that is such a huge.
He's obviously
point
off.
Yeah. The 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock. What was that?
Is where you see this guy come in. He's
appointment.
He's in his psychologist. He's in his psychologist's office. He's a doctor, and then this first patient is someone who thinks he's a psychologist, and then you're not supposed to know. Wait, who is the psychologist? We don't know. Is it you? Are you the patient? Are you the psychologist?
Because the secretary is a sub. It's not the same lady.
And so she's like,
I don't know.
He was here when I got here, but I don't know.
Yeah.
There was a part actually where the one guy calls for his secretary, but she doesn't. She picks up the phone, but then she has to go somewhere. Oh. And so he's like, I'm talking to my secretary now, and then they can hear those. And I'm do you hear her now? There's no one on the phone. Are you hearing her? Let's talk about this. Is there a problem? I thought it was funny, and it was
twisted. It was
It was nice to have because the other ones aren't.
They are. They're heavier. Yes. My nephew Emmett
is about a young black man who whistles at a white woman, and then It's
and
in the
then
South.
They come for him.
It's in the South.
They come
we
for
know
him.
What happens in the South?
Yes.
Isn't this is so bad?
Oh.
I don't want to be racist against white people either, but when you see a white person come to a black man's house in the South during the 30s and 40s, you're like, oh, not a white guy. My first like, not a white guy. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be horrible. Oh. And it was exactly what we thought it was gonna be. Yes. And it's a true story.
Oh, stop it!
Remember, at the end they show the actual guy.
Oh yeah,
they record and it's actual guy talking. That's
I hate
people. Racism is stupid.
The Silent Child is about this girl who is deaf, and her family just kind of ignores her, and then she gets a teacher who connects with her. Oh, it is so beautiful, this relationship.
It is sad at the end.
Oh,
and I love though that they talked about like this many people are deaf. And like 80% are born to hearing parents, and then 79% don't even get help. They just go through school not being able to hear.
Because their parents can't admit how badly their kids need help.
And so they're just dumb, or they just don't. They don't listen, or they don't like they can't hear.
Yes.
How would you do well if you couldn't hear?
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
And
so
then
help your kids.
Watu Wote
is about the border of, I think it's Nigeria, right, where they. Muslims and Christians are constantly in a battle. Not normal Christians, normal Muslims, but there's some radical Muslim terrorists that keep targeting Christians. So they take this bus over. It's also a true story. Take this bus over.
One Christian lady on this bus of Muslims.
No, it was a few Christian ladies. Oh, because remember the other next to her has a.
Well, it's really about the one lady.
Yeah. Well, and the guy. Then the one guy is Muslim, and he sticks up for them.
Oh, yeah.
That the Christians, and because he's, not a radical terrorist. He's a nice guy. And so he sticks up for these Christians.
And take care of her. It's really good. I thought it was good.
People, can we see that hatred is not the correct answer to the situation?
There's no need.
All these things. And that was the end of live action ones. I actually really all of them were interesting for sure and well done. I really liked DeKalb Elementary though, just because it was so, and how timely is that in the United States right now?
Right? Oh man.
We are going through some stuff. So I would pick that one too.
Yeah. So that's all 15 of the shorts.
Woo, sorry it took so long, but there they are. Only 12 and a half minutes, less than a minute a short.
That's the bullet points for you.
So if you get a chance to see them, great. You can buy the live action ones and 3 of the animated ones for $2.99 on iTunes. So $3 you can see 8 of the 15. So
they're good.
Do that. Okay. Bye.
Bye.